Faizul, you take over.
Okay, sure. Okay, hello everyone.
Hello, hello,
Hello, Faisal.
hi.
How are you?
Yeah, good. So we are about to start in about 1 minute time. So let's do the testing because apparently I cannot control the slide here. Okay,
Okay.
normal technology hiccup is it's very normal. So perhaps hold on, yeah. From screen. I'm not sure whether you guys can view my shared screen. Okay, do let me know if you can see the screen. Okay, can you see the screen? Okay, awesome. Okay, so we'll start in about few seconds. Okay, so I believe we can see the screen now. Okay, all right, let's start. Okay, Assalamualaikum and very good morning to everyone who's watching our another series of webinar through My Digital Maker Movement and the MDEC, Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation. And my name is Faizul Anuar. I'm from Digital Talent Development. So one division under Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation, MDEC, that oversees this digital talent development of starting from the grassroots level, from young age to tertiary level, school levels, tertiary levels, and up to latent talent. Okay, so in my department specifically, so I'm in charge on this K-12 education, K-12, meaning that the 12 years of education, the compulsory education from standard 1 up to form 5. Okay, so today we're gonna have a very interesting topic through this webinar. We have Microbit. Okay, Microbit. I think this not need any introduction of Microbit, the microcontroller education, and also we're gonna have Elvira Systems, Sendram Berhad, as one of our we can say the first company that brings Microbit into Malaysia. Okay, all right. So this session is going to be 1 hour in terms of duration. And also it's going to be a bi-language session. Okay, so meaning it will be in either English or in Bahasa Malaysia. Okay. We try to make it as casual as possible, very santai, okay, because we want to have a better understanding, especially for our viewers, and we are expecting to have the viewers demographic in terms of they are students are Malaysian students or maybe overseas students as well. We have teachers are from national schools in Malaysia, be it from sekolah rendah, primary school, and also sekolah menengah, the secondary school, and also parents as well. Okay, so today we have very distinguished guests. So we have Mr. Waris Candra. Okay, Mr. Waris Candra.
Salam sejahtera.
Yeah, hi Waris. Okay, Mr. Waris Candra is well known for his passion into educating the students from the young age, inspiring the students to love digital making activities. Okay, So he's the head of APAC, Asia Pacific, of Microbit Educational Foundation. He's based in Hong Kong, in Hong Kong. And also we have Mr. Mohd Farid Zainal. He's the CEO of Elvira Systems. Okay, to give you some the understanding of what this webinar is all about. So today is not really a technical session because we're gonna have a technical session series after this session, starting from next week. So today is more about the introduction, what Microbit is all about, and also how it benefits the students, the teachers, and of course we want to tell the trend of Microbit worldwide, and also how this platform of Microbit nurtured interest in digital making. Okay, without further ado, let's introduce our distinguished speaker from. Okay, before that, okay, you may notice the crawler down there. Okay, you may notice the crawler down there. It says, check out all my digital maker initiatives here at our website, www.mydigitalmaker.com. Okay, that's our official website. You can find more about our initiatives from there. And of course, our Facebook social media channels, the handle is alias at My Digital Maker Movement. So we have gained close to 14,000, I think more than 14,000 viewers, the followers, due to this COVID-19 pandemic outbreak. So a lot, okay, because everyone, perhaps they are online, so they have more time to go through this digital social platform. And of course, our Instagram channel at My Digital Maker Movement, okay. We do also have TikTok, okay, but TikTok is not so much we put on TikTok because TikTok is a trend now, okay. So TikTok, if you use it wisely, you can learn a lot of things, beneficial, okay. And also we also have a LinkedIn page, okay. But our main social media channels are, of course, our website www.mydigitalmaker.com and our Facebook at My Digital Maker Movement, and also our Instagram is also at My Digital Maker Movement. Okay, moving on. So we have Pak Waris Candra here. Let me call Waris Pak Waris today. Okay, so Pak Waris, he's Indonesian, so from Medan, if I'm not mistaken, and then his current stay is in Surabaya, but now he's based in Hong Kong. Okay, so I would like to thank Pak Waris for taking his time off from his busy schedule to be with us today. Okay, I believe there's no time zone difference, yeah, Pak Waris, between Hong Kong and Malaysia?
No time zone at all, no.
Okay, cool, awesome. So we are on the same at 10:37 now, a.m. in the morning. Okay, Pak Waris, can you share with us a little bit about yourself?
So I started with Microbit Educational Foundation back in 2017. Before that, I was very much involved in bringing a lot of educational technology products, services into Hong Kong and Taiwan as well. And then in 2017, I joined the Microbit Educational Foundation. And surprisingly, one of the partners that we met in Malaysia is actually Elvira. So it was a long time ago in terms of the foundation years. But we have done a lot of teacher trainings. We have done a lot of webinars and also a lot of sharing with educators. And it's wonderful. It's a wonderful experience.
Awesome. Okay. We also have Mr. Farid from Elvira Systems, and also Mr. Izwan, the main trainer of Elvira Systems. Hold on, because I received a note here that people cannot see the screen. Perhaps our producer can have a look on that. From YouTube, there's no screen displaying. Or is it okay now? Okay, give us 1 second, please. Hold on, Okay, we are back to live. Okay, Mr. Farid, can you share with us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Elvira Systems together with Mr. Izwan here. Okay, we started Elvira Systems in 2012, 2013. So when we started, we were focusing on semiconductor chip design and embedded systems design. So throughout our experience doing projects for embedded systems, we came across multiple, I would say, the whole spectrum of, I would say, users and also interest. Some high-end, some wanted to learn, and we think that Microbit, when we first discovered it, actually it was from the embedded systems platform. Yeah, so we found out that Microbit actually is the best platform, yeah, for people to get started, for students and even for parents and even for teachers also. For those who are with limited background, non-engineering background, but they wanted to know about embedded systems and how it impacts the world, I think. And then it's the best platform. And then we run a lot of pilot run on different group of students, and we see a very encouraging response. And I think from there on, we really we started to push it all around, all out, because we think that it's going to make a difference to everybody, and I think it's the best thing that we have right now for nurturing. Actually, the most importantly is nurturing coding, and so how to link it with the physical world. Yeah, that's the best platform for this.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Mr. Farid. Okay, for viewers' information, so Mr. Farid is the graduates from the Johns Hopkins University in the state of America in electrical and computer engineering. Okay, so
I would like to add one more thing. Like now, Johns Hopkins name related to COVID-19. All the statistics all come from Johns Hopkins. So yeah.
I think the whole was referring to Johns Hopkins University for the daily statistics on the COVID-19. If you know, right? Because I noticed every day they are always mention about Johns Hopkins University when it comes to the statistics. Okay, Mr. French being the alumni of university. Okay, all right. So again, because in Malaysia we are in PKP, Pak Waris. PKP is a Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan or Movement Control Order enforced by our government, Malaysian government. So we are now in more than 1 month. Okay, so you may notice life has been really different. Okay, like for myself, my hair is keep on growing because I can't go to the barber. Everything's closed, so I have to wait until the MCO has been lifted, and only I can do the normal activities. But as of course, the government always mentioned that this is the new normal. Okay, so we need to adapt. Okay, when it comes to technology, especially the digital technology. So this is where we see the transformation of our lifestyle. Okay, when it comes to this pandemic situation. So how can be very creative to go about it? As you can see, in terms of education, most of the methodology of education are now goes off online. Okay, so whether we like it or not, so this is one of the the changes that we need to adapt. Okay, so to make it into reality, so as a backbone or as a background, or what we call what we are having now, the conversation here, the online conversation involves lots of coding, correct? lots of coding behind what we are having now. Okay, so for example, if the kids, some of the kids ask how this video conferencing works, okay, how do you explain to your kids? Okay, what's the technology behind it? What's the tools behind it? Okay, so Microbit, for example, is one of the tools used or one of the technology used to make it happen on what we are having right now. Okay, so I'll pass the floor to Pak Waris to share with us about what Microbit is all about, what Microbit has been doing all this while, and of course, the plan for the future, you know, the hope, the expectation, and all. Okay, let me share the screen. Hold on, yeah.
So while you are sharing the screen, I think I would like to share one thing or to answer your question. The Microbit Education Foundation's mission is not only about coding. We, in situation like this, I think our mission is even more consistent because we want to inspire every child to create their best digital future. So anything that they're having problem at the moment, I think it is a problem yet to be solved. So with any digital solutions or anything that they can think of, probably utilizing coding and making something out of it will be able to help to find that solution. So I think it is a very fortunate time for the students to be able to think of ways to plan and dream for their future as well. So let me go back to my presentation about BBC Microbit in APAC. So we are, as a foundation, we started in 2016. We started in September, if I don't get it wrong, really. We have been in existence only for a few years, but we are already in about 60 countries. And there are about 24 languages being used to interact with Microbit. So far, we have about 4.5 million devices all over the world. And I think we have a figure of about 24 million people or children impacted from this initiative. And we have about 200 delivery partners all over the world, including Elvira as one of our partners in Malaysia. Next slide, please, Mr. Faizul. So as what I mentioned just now, we inspire every child to create their best digital future. So it's not only about coding. It's about finding the solutions, computational thinking, 21st century skills, digital skills, which is really, really critical at a time like this. So there are a lot of ways to play with Microbit or to program the Microbit. We can use the block-based program like the Microsoft MakeCode. We can use text-based program like Python. And we can also use Scratch 3.0 to really see the benefit of the digital world and the physical world and how to connect them together. So there are a few things to remember about the Microbit. It is easy, it is affordable, and we are a non-profit. So when I mention about easy, we always like to say we are low floor, but very high ceiling, and again, very wide walls. So what we mean by that is that it's very easy for you to learn. It takes about 5 minutes to get students excited. It takes about 5 minutes to get teachers to know how to use a Microbit, whether or not they have taught or learned computing science in the past. And high ceiling in the sense of you can actually embed it with different sensors, different type of applications to make it function in a way that you would like it to be. And I'm sure that there will be people who will be asking about, what is the difference between using Arduino and also using Raspberry Pi. But again, we could actually share that later on. But the main critical difference, it will be the sensors that are attached to the Microbit itself. It is sufficient enough. We are being used in education system worldwide. There are about 33 countries who have used Microbit in their national curriculum. widely used in the education system. And I believe in Malaysia, in the RBT subject, there will be a microbit in one of the modules. And then, microbit is definitely the central role in digital skills acquisition, one of the 21st century skills as well. And in anything that we use normally, we do it in a creative way. We want it to be fun. We hope that you will learn it through a project base, and it's cross-curricular. So not only in computing, but in subjects like mathematics, in arts, and even in in a history subject as well. And in anywhere that we go to achieve our goal of reaching 100 million students to learn digital skills with Microbit by 2025, we need our global partners. And normally, we work with partners who are very good with training, teacher capacity building. So we understand that Elvira has been doing a lot of teacher capacity building works. I remember last year, remind me if I'm wrong, Farid, but last year, you guys with MDAC, obviously, trained about 600 over teachers, master trainers, to use Scratch and also Microbit. So we believe in great partnership and excellence in our communities. So to achieve that, as a foundation, we also contribute with more resources. This is achievable by our new Microbit website. So if you go to www.microbit.org/lessons, you will be able to find a lot more lessons that is readily available for you to adopt as well. And in a time like this, we also have a home learning section. So if you go to our home learning section, there are a lot of other lessons that you can start straight away. So this new guide starts from animated videos, starting from taking you from learning the Microbit itself, explaining how it works, and leading to the project itself. So yeah, we have a lot of lessons to cover that. The next thing that I would like to suggest everybody to pay attention to, especially with Cikgu who had experience with the master training program, there's a new function called Microbit Classroom. And at a time like this, if your students have access to internet connectivity, you could actually deliver your lessons live with them. So a little bit about impact that we have of Microbit in APAC, the APAC journey. Obviously, I'm based in Hong Kong. My kids are all in Hong Kong. This is a picture that showed up on my Facebook just yesterday. So apparently, yes, last year, I conducted a hour of code with my kids in City University. So in Hong Kong, we started with Microbit activity very early on, back in 2017. Remember in that year, I think I might have trained about 1,200 teachers all together in Hong Kong and also in Taiwan. So my Microbit journey really starts from the hour of code for families and also for educators. And then we do a lot of exhibitions, showcases. And at a time like this, again, it's best that we can stay in touch, we can showcase what we have learned and share it with audience globally, not only in Malaysia now. We also work with a lot of non-profit organizations. So in Malaysia, again, we work with MDAC and also some other organizations who deliver training into some regions, states in Malaysia. We also work with Girls Go Tech, the Women's Foundation. We conducted Faraday Challenge competitions with the IET, one of our founding partners. And I'm a great believer in train the trainers. And sometimes train the trainers, it doesn't really need to start with just the teachers. It could be students. So some junior high school students or secondary school students, they could actually teach. They could actually share what they learn with other students or even teachers. And let's move to Thailand, our neighbor. we happen to do a lot of works there as well. We have about 2,000 schools using Microbit in Thailand. The same thing in Korea, which is on next slide. We also contributed quite a lot of contents through our partners, the Education Broadcasting System and the MIE teachers, the Microsoft Innovative Experts. And then one amazing campaign that of one of our partners' initiative was to train juvenile delinquents to train using Microbit. And then obviously in Japan, we work with a lot of MIEs, a lot of partners like obviously Microsoft, our founding partners. We also work with Sharp, NECs, Lenovo, Switch Education, Lego, and then including Google. And I'm sure that Google for Education, Google Classroom is widely used in Malaysia at the moment. So in Malaysia, we've done quite a lot of works in terms of exhibitions. My Digital Maker Fair, we were present, we were showcasing students' works. And I would like to say something about one of the runner-ups from our Do Your Bit competition this year. The runner-up winner is actually from Malaysia. Yay! And then we're also actively promoting the use of Microbit in Australia, New Zealand, and so on and so forth. So, just for APAC region, we have done quite a lot. And I mean, I will appreciate it if later on during our sharing times, you can ask me more questions or ask Farid or Faizul any questions, and we'll be more than happy to share with you. So I think without further ado, I would like to pass on the next presenter, Mr. Farid, to tell us a little bit more about what is happening in Malaysia. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Waris. So my name again, Farid. Okay, so in this session, in my talk, I will talk about the Microbit in Malaysia. So we'll wait for the slide for a moment, okay, to come out. Okay, yeah. So Microbit in Malaysia. So a bit of introduction on Elvira Systems. Next slide. Okay. So Elvira Systems, we established it in 2012. Yeah. So we're based in Cyberjaya. So what we do professional training, design services and consulting in the area of IoT embedded systems and chip design. My background actually is semiconductor. I'm a chip designer. Yeah? So is my partner. So is one. We came from IC design, integrated circuit design background. So throughout our careers in IC design, we develop a lot of chips, we design a lot of chips, we see all kind of applications. But one of the things that keep coming, keep popping up when we do embedded system, when we do chip design is the processor. So just for your information, so many people probably know about Intel, because of your laptops, Intel Inside and so on, But for everything else, your mobile, your handphone, your tablet, your everything else, chances are the processor used inside is something called ARM, ARM. So the reason I'm talking about ARM here because that's how we got started with Microbit. So while we're doing our work in IC design, what we call SoC design here, the main processors used for those chips are ARM cores, ARM processor, So, but ARM used to be very high end, out of reach for everybody. It's very niche. It's only for those who were doing chip design, for example. It's very specialized knowledge, for example. And then it's not an easy thing to do. So you can ask any engineers, say 10 years ago, 15 years ago, if they say they are doing embedded system design, chances are they will be. It's not a, I would say it's not a fun experience. Doing embedded system design 10 years ago, 15 years ago was hard, very difficult because the tools are not friendly. Yeah, the support is very, I would say, very high end and very technical, and definitely there's no way. There's no way that we're going to teach coding at that level to schools children, for example. Yeah, and there was nobody think that was possible at that time. Yeah, so but throughout the years, say starting from 2015, okay, here come up with a solution in a way is to attract people towards embedded systems. So we try to make it easier for people to start doing coding on embedded systems. Yeah, so there was a platform called Embed. That was the first time we used cloud compiler. Yeah, very briefly, yeah, just brief history. So we from there on, it develops further, and then it's picked up by at that time the foundation, Microbit Foundation. So was one of the partners for Microbit Foundation. Yeah, so contributed the compiler technology and the processor technology inside, and then everything comes together and becomes a very nice platform. So that was how we got into the picture. Yeah, we came from the embedded systems background, professional level training, and then it morphed into Microbit. Yeah, so it's a very nice and interesting piece of history actually, how the whole microbit comes into the picture. Yeah. Next slide, please. Faizul. Okay. So in Malaysia, so how we got started is this from our link with ARM. Yeah. So we were training lecturers, university lecturers on embedded systems design. Actually, it's an MDEC program called Trainer Program. So in one of those modules, we introduced to the lecturers the microbit. So microbit was very new back then, very fresh out of the kitchen, we call it. Yeah. So and they like it. They like it because that's the first time we see that the what we call the learning curve, the learning curve for embedded systems, it's being what we call it make possible for everybody. Yeah. So these people are lecturers. They are teaching coding, computer programming, and they're teaching embedded system using all these high-end processors and so on. Yeah. But yeah, once they were introduced to microbit, yeah, so they like it. There's no issue. There's no limitation. It means that they can bring this to their students, and they were the first to sort of trigger the idea that now we can expose this to more than just computer engineering students, because previously, yeah, based on our experience, based on our based on our experience and our what we call it contracting jobs and so on, embedded systems are normally it's a very set kind of knowledge, only for engineering students. Even engineering students also very limited kind of engineering students, electrical engineering or computer engineering or even computer science. It's only very narrow field of engineering. So based on this feedback from these lecturers, actually, they started to think that actually maybe now they can introduce you to a wider audience at engineering level. Yeah, so that was the first time that the idea come across. So maybe if it can go to and other engineering, can it go to other fields also? Yeah, so that's how things got started here in Malaysia. Rather than focusing on a very narrow market, we try to open it up, to the rest of the field, and not only limited to at engineering level, at university level, and so on. Yeah, so that from there on, we started to sort of do a pilot run. So pilot run, we choose a very wide spectrum of audience. Among the first that we tried was On the next slide, please. Okay, so this was among the first pilot site that we run microbit classes on. Okay, this is in Raup. Is an orphanage. Yeah? So at this point, at that point, the patron was the current Agong lah. Yeah. So he visited the orphanage, and then the orphanage there is a what we call innovation center together with the orphanage at the same area. So these students, yeah, so they came and we trained them, we exposed them to microbit. So they were the first to experience microbit. They were the first school children to be exposed to microbit in Malaysia in 2017. Yeah. So and these students they are considered rural area students. Yeah. They are not from KL. They are basically all from actually from Pahang and mostly from Raup. Yeah. And then they had no exposures in coding and so on, but with microbit, and within the first day of exposure to microbit, okay, at the end of the day, they can pick it up. And then on the next day, basically, this is what they show. They are the one those who become the what you call it, the exhibitor and showcase for the Agong when he came and visited. So these students, they just learned yesterday, the day before, and on the next day, yeah, they were showing the Agong what they can do with it. So I think that is something that when we see that kind of interest and that kind of what we call it acceptance for the students, then we know that this is something that has potential. So we can we can promote microbit, we can let everybody knows, we can let everybody try, we can let everybody be exposed to microbit. So because it's easy, it is something, it's life-changing. So this is what we call life-changing. It changed the student's life actually. And then they, for the first time, they see that they have potential. They know they can go into, you know, what we call it, higher education. They can know, they can even, they can groom the interest in, say, technology and coding, because previously it's unheard of for them. Yeah. So, and microbit provide them the opportunity. Yeah. So now I think some of them, yeah, has actively involved in their local activity, local communities. Yeah. So and another what we call it, demographics that we tried in the beginning is this religious school. Yeah, it's called Tahfiz School. So this one is based in Sungai Besar. Yeah? Mahad Tahfiz. Yeah, at Sungai Besar. So these students is a private school basically. Yeah, private Tahfiz school. So these students, they are what we call, they have good memories. They can pick up things very easily, and of course, yeah, microbit comes naturally to them because they have, yeah, they are, what we call it, something that interests them very much, and then from them we get a new perspective. Yeah, so what can they do with microbit in terms of innovations that has some, and they can help them towards their learning process and so on. Yeah, so and next we try the what you call a pilot run also, so for the teachers. Yeah, so this is among the few early teachers. There were some from national schools, some from international schools. Yeah, so again for teachers, they are, in the beginning it's always this question: do I have to be a computer science background? I'm not a computer scientist, I'm a English teacher, I'm a math teacher, I'm a science teacher, can I do this? So we say, let's sit in the class, yeah, and then let's see what we can do. And then all of them, by the end of the session, yeah, one day session, they all gain confidence that they can deploy this in their classroom. Yes. So far, I've never heard that anyone says at the end of the course, say that they cannot. pick it up. Yeah. So other things, we were in London in back 2018. So we bring a showcase. Actually, is if you can see here, actually is wayang kulit actually. Yeah. So you know wayang kulit, yeah. Wayang kulit tok dalang tu wayang kulit. You move it and shadow play. Yeah. So we sort of put microbit to the wayang kulit and move the wayang kulit. Yeah. So it's something that interests that uh, quite a lot of visitors came in and they were sort of curious what was that about. So it's something interesting that we can use. It shows the breadth of microbit. It's not only for science, it's not only for coding, but it can also be applicable for arts. Yeah. So it's matter of creativity. How can you apply it in your scenario that where we might not even think that was possible in the beginning. Yeah, so it is from this actually we can show that anything you can think of. If you come from any background, you can, after learning the basics, that you can apply that. You can inject some kind of technology in whatever things that you're doing. You know, because the learning curve is short. All right. So among other things that we do, yeah. So once we got all the pilot set ready and all ready run, so we were working with MDEC mostly, yeah. So we had programs for children, for school, for students, and we also have programs for the teachers, yeah. So last year we trained about 560 master trainers, yeah. So teachers are teaching RBT subjects for the primary schools. So they were exposed to microbits, and they developed their project in say 3 days. They come up with multiple projects at school level that what they can do, and they're all going to be actually the nucleus, yeah, for the schools around them. So that is one projects that we do together with NDAC. Another one is the what we call called Champion School Program. So Champion School Program was also with NDAC. Yeah, so we have 22 schools nationwide. So all the schools become clusters. So they are some with microbit. So we consult a few schools for this. So those schools are provided with microbit, and they basically we groom the students to become the instructor, so they can train their peers. So I think it's a good opportunity, it's a good progress, it's a good exposure for the students, also for the community. Yeah, and on the next slide, so what can we do after learning microbits? Yeah, so what can you do with microbits? So for Malaysia, actually, we organize what we call a competition. Yeah. So for co-curriculum. Yeah. So we run a competition called MIRC, Microbit Innovation and Robotics Competition. So we had it in 2018 at Bukit Jalil, yeah, stadium, in conjunction with my Maker Fair. Okay. And then in 2019, we organized it at UTM KL. Yeah. So there are two categories for that competition. Yeah. So it's innovation. So innovation, we try to sync up the team to do your bit. So microbit, do your bit. So in 2018, the team was about safety. I think safety in schools or around your neighborhood. So all the students actually use microbit and they think of what they can do in terms of to help make their school or their community a safer place. One of the things I want to show here is this, and one of the students' project was in the playing field actually. So in the playing field, the goalpost. A few years back, and there was a lot of cases where students got hurt when the goalpost collapsed. The goalpost sort of tilt over and hit the students. So this student came up with an idea that put a microbit, because in microbit there are sensors, so they can use this sensor to sense if the goalpost is going to tilt and sound an alarm. So they made that project. It's what they see. The project that we encourage is what the students see in the surrounding, what they see in the surrounding, what are the problems that they face, and they can use Microbit as the platform, as a tool to help them solve that problem. So that's what we want from them, yeah. And another category that we have for the competition is the Makers Robotic, where the students build their robots and complete the challenge that we set during the competition. One of them is actually a soccer robot, and other things like obstacle tasks they have to design and make it. Okay, so 2018, 2019, so same thing, yeah. So more competition, as you can see from the pictures, yeah. So there are more and more students participating. So is this year, I think we will have change of format because of the MCO, but we'll update you later in the Mighty Maker. And among the last thing, so in curriculum also, what we do basically, we work, Elvira Systems, we work closely with MOE, yeah. So we have a few things. One, we advise the textbook panel actually for the Form 3. So if you look at the Form 3 textbook, we have there are microbit slides inside, so we advise the writers on that topic, yeah, microbit. And also we were involved in the DSKP, I call it, for tahun 45 dan 6, developing the DSKP, yeah, for that. So next year and this year we started, yeah, for year 4. So we learning Scratch, yeah, and then year 5, you know, we will start to introduce Microbit among them, yeah. Okay, next slide, please. Last one. Okay, so what next? So if you want to know more, yeah, so this session today is more like introduction to what Microbit is about, yeah. For hands-on session, we're going to have the session starting next week, facilitated by Cik Izwan, yeah, also known as Abang Wan. So we have the next few sessions next week on 10:30, 27, 7, and 14 of May. So stay tuned to the My Digital Maker website or Facebook, and they will update you on the latest events. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Farid. Okay, that was a very good sharing on what Elvira is doing. Miss Producer, would you mind to include Pak Waris into the webinar, please? Thank you, Producer. Okay, all right. So we have heard about what Microbit is about, and also Elvira Systems. There are some questions I would like to ask to Pak Waris here, especially on the because I am really interested on, just now Pak Waris mentioned about Microbit is about low floor and high ceiling. That's a very, very good phrase. Okay, which means, in my understanding, means that you invest less but you get more. Is it correct, Faris?
That is correct. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So as for Microbit, how Microbit as a platform nurture interest in digital making to the students?
So I think it's best to take an example of what Farid just now mentioned. You know, combining wayang kulit with Microbit. I mean, you know, it's a classic example of having arts, traditional arts, in a respective country, and make it, you know, digitize it really. So you can make it, and then you can code it, and then it become a very lively wayang kulit. So you can have your own wayang kulit show, just using the Microbit with the coding itself. So I think the fun part is actually the most important factor. It engage the students to find the solutions for a certain problem. And sometimes it could be a very innovative problem.
Yes, because I just now Farid mentioned about the Microbit is not limited to any computer science or digital tech. It can go to arts skill set as well, right? Like wayang kulit, it is borderless. It's beyond computer science, right?
That's
So
correct. Yes, yeah.
it use it to almost anything, any skill sets, right?
Any skill sets. That's correct. Yes.
Yes. Okay. How about how Microbit contributes in academic curriculum, number one, and also non-academic, I mean in core curriculum activities in school?
So the curriculums in every country or region or even state could be very different. I think this is what we mean by localization. The most important part is that our local partners will be able to provide local supports, contents that is relevant to your own education system. So when you mention the word curriculum, what came to my mind straight away is the structure. So sometimes we have to adapt to our local structure. So be it an after school or be it integrated into a particular subject, that all depends. In Hong Kong, for example, Microbit is also recommended as one of the after school material to be used in schools.
Yeah, because of course we don't limit like what I mentioned just now. So it can go beyond computer science school. It also can because the now you can see now the emerging interest in terms of those who are taking, for example, accounting or they study law, but they also love to learn something that can automate their works. Okay, for example. So they need to know a basic programming language, a basic coding. Okay, so I believe that Microbit is a very good example for them to start off, right?
Yeah. It is something for them to start, to inspire them to think wider, to dig deeper, to explore how they want to solve their own problem within their own area. So I think it is definitely going to be really helpful. I mean, another thing that a lot of people probably did not realize, I mean, with the availability of Microbit, it actually allows a lot of small, medium-sized companies to explore different type of products that they can create and market it to all over the world. So again, that is part of the creativity that the small and medium-sized enterprises are doing.
Can you mention some example on that?
So for example, Elvira came out with their own teaching kit that is fitting into the local curriculum. So this becomes one of the product that is compatible with Microbit, and it can be used by the students or any education institutions.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Okay, another question. Maybe for those who are new to Microbit, so they may be curious how this Microbit works. Is it a tool? Is it a programming language? Or if it's a tool, what are the programming language that are compatible with these tools? For example, perhaps Code, Scratch, or Python. Can you brief on that?
Okay, so the Microbit is not just the hardware. The Microbit could actually be used with Code, which is readily available, just like Scratch. What happens is that you need to write the code with the Code that is equipped with a simulator. So you can program a simulated Microbit right on your left screen.
Okay.
Yeah. So you'll be able to find out more in the next session with the technicalities. And then, we always work with different third-party editors as well. And one of them are Scratch, or even MakeBlock, MBlock 5. So, anybody can come up with their own third-party editors and also work on something that is compatible with Microbit. So I do suggest that if you are in a school and if your school has already started with robotics, perhaps you can talk to your teacher about how to integrate Microbit with the current existing robotic program that they are using.
Okay, so meaning that
something like
yes, Farid.
I would like to add also. I would like to that you can also use C++, to code in Microbit. So because this is can be useful for, say, university level students, because the first impression that they get is Microbit is for school children only, sekolah rendah, but it's not true, because there are two parts to Microbit, as what I say. There are hardware and there are software. So the hardware is the Microbit itself, the microcontroller, which by itself is already a very well-rounded hardware, because it has built-in sensors and so on. So you don't have to have extra external sensors. You can do something with sensors on board already. And the second part is the software part. So you can use whichever coding environment that you are comfortable with. So MakeCode, the reason we introduced MakeCode, because MakeCode is low entry. No barrier here, no barrier. Anyone can pick it up. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. After that, you are, what we call it, go full steam ahead, actually. But if you want to develop your skills further, you can still use the same hardware platform. It's embedded systems, but you can start to go deeper into the formal programming languages. So, and then have a hardware platform that can show your results and how do you interact with physical world, actually. So as I mentioned earlier in my slide, because when we started, we were doing embedded system, and 15 years ago, embedded system was something that was very difficult. Only very select few, and then no student, almost nobody wants to learn it because it's too hard. But with Microbit now, we have more pools of people who are willing to explore further. So so I think it's a nice story there.
Yes. I believe that introducing this Microbit, especially for the young age, because this is back to the questions that I were to ask, whether Microbit is suitable for certain ages or only to be used at schools or beyond that. So I believe Microbit is something that is maybe as a starter, for those who have no programming language at all. Okay, zero. So when they see the computer, they see the language. It's like the cacing, or in Malay we call it cacing. So they don't understand the language, especially JavaScript. But when having the Microbit, perhaps through MakeCode, for example, it's a block coding. So that will start to spark interest, not only for the young kids, but perhaps to their parents. Like what we had recently through we had this Hour of Code campaign due to this MCO, movement control order. So this is something nice story that I would love to share because everyone is at home. Okay, so they do the Hour of Code through Discord.org using the block programming, for example. The parents, they are not from technical background. Some of them are lawyers. Some of them are, selling insurance, for example. When they teach their students, because when they do the Hour of Code at home, so it must be guided by the parents. Okay, but end up, you know what? The parents got too excited, so they end up doing lots of modules. The student, the kids, they have only finish one module, but the parents end up doing lots because it sparks interest. Because of that, the simplicity of the coding is colorful, is interactive. So that's what we want actually to spark the interest, okay, of the digital making, the programming, the coding to general public, right? Okay, so the last questions not the last question, there are some questions here that we received. What's differentiate, because there are so many, perhaps tools out there, aside from Microbit, we have Arduino, okay? So this is not a competitive question, no, not comparing, but what differentiate Arduino and also Microbit? Pak Waris?
I think coming back to the low floor, high ceiling concept, we think that it is easier for the students to pick up block-based programming with MakeCode. And I think I mentioned during my presentation, Microbit has built-in sensors. So it is easier for the students to basically plug and play with Microbit. So it's easier. But again, the Microbit also has the capability of being extended to serve other sensors that Arduino would have. So I would say it's not competitive, but both will work fine depending on the context.
So it can complement each other?
I think so, yes, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, last questions to Pak Waris. What is the expectation, what is the hope of Microbit Educational Foundation in the next 5 years in terms of number of students trained, number of students or people using Microbit devices?
So yeah, I'm super proud with MDEX initiative. It definitely helps our goal in reaching 100 million students by 2025. I think we are getting even stronger with inspiring more students, educators, and especially during a time like this, it actually helped us to grow even more with webinars. I mean, this is my 4th webinars this week actually, and I think we're going to do a lot more, and teachers will have a bit of time doing professional development, self-study, and definitely we are ready to help in any way, and our partners are ready to help. So you know, shout out, you know, write us in a note, an email, just let us know, and I'm really thankful of MDEX initiative in Malaysia.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Waris. Okay, next question is to Farid. Okay, being a part of this technical committee and also the contributor of this national curriculum through the recommended technology, you know, RBT. What do you think that the things that you have contributed from Elvira Systems, especially on this curriculum, what's the impact that you can see now?
Yeah. So I think the first thing that is always that you have to think about is how do we deploy something new? Yeah. So for example, you want to teach coding. How do we get the knowledge across to teachers first? How do we ensure that the teachers are well trained before we sort of go down to the student level? So I think with Microbit, actually, what we can see is that the comfort level is very high. Yeah, so I think it's very encouraging because teachers from all background, because you have to understand sometimes the subject, the RBT teachers, they are legacy teachers. They came from the previous subject called Kemainan Hidup, and all there are different areas of the subject matters, and then now they have to add one more, coding, for example. So if it's just if the learning curve is too steep, then it's going to be a big problem. So but I think with Microbit, the way we introduce it is that the comfort level is there. Yeah, they're very comfortable with it. So I think that is the key lah. So what makes teacher comfortable, I think, is something that we have to be a lot of focus on. So going forward.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Farid. Okay, before we end, so let me recap. For those who just joined in to this webinar, so this is just an introduction session. This is not technical tutorial. So we're gonna have a very deep dive to this Microbit in terms of tutorial and technical tutorial in the next 3 weeks. Okay, let me show you for those who just joined. The session that will be run by Elvira Systems starting from 37th of April. Okay, can you all see the screen? Yeah, let me share the screen. Okay, so the first session, so by Abang Wan. Okay, Abang Wan is from known as Izwan, but better known as Abang Wan. So he will sharing with us on the pengenalan kepada Microbit and Code on 27th of April at 10:30. That's the first session. And bagaimana memulakan projek inovasi hanya menggunakan Microbit. Second session is 7th of May. And the last would be bagaimana untuk menghasilkan projek inovasi dengan menggunakan Microbit dan perkekasan luar on the 14th of May. Okay, do check our web page. My Digital Maker at mydigitalmaker.com, okay, or Facebook My Digital Maker Movement, Instagram My Digital Maker _my, LinkedIn My Digital Maker hashtag, and YouTube hashtag My Digital Maker. There are so many, you see, the social media channels that are under My Digital Maker Movement. So do visit us for any updates or any upcoming webinars through My Digital Maker initiatives. Okay, so with that, before we end, so I would like to thank to this the team for this webinar, especially our producer at the backstage. You can see her here, Miss Nalini, for allowing us to gather with the social distancing. So everyone is far away from each other. I believe Fari is in Putrajaya. Pak Waris is in Hong Kong, very far away from us. But technology menghubungkan kita semua. See, the technology, if you use it wisely, so you can benefit from this technology. Okay, once again, Pak Waris, stay safe in Hong Kong. So we hope that the situation is getting back to normal. But of course, we need to adapt to the new normal as well. Okay, so I'm going to Pak. Okay.
Terima kasih Pak Faizul.
Ya, terima kasih Pak Waris. So we hope to have you again in our webinar session. Again, we thank you for your time and also Cik Farid for taking a time off from the busy schedule session today. We are really delighted, we are really honored to have both of you, the subject matter experts, you see, for this microcontroller matters. Okay, so again, for those who just joined, you can view this webinar from our YouTube channel, My Digital Maker. It will be a recorded session. You can watch it anytime later. Okay, with that, stay safe, stay home, and take care, everyone. Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.